Welcome to Encounter, where we celebrate putting faith into action and community leaders who live out compassion, grace, and love. We're a program of the Broome County Council of Churches that addresses food insecurity through Chow and the Greater Good Grocery, provides hospital and jail ministry, builds wheelchair ramps, and assists neighbors with transportation and shopping services through Faith in Action volunteers. We invite you to the conversation. Encounter your neighbors as we learn to walk together in love and kindness.
Good morning, and I'm your host today, Joe Sellepack, the Executive Director at the Broome County Council of Churches. Juneteenth is a great holiday. It's one of the newest holidays that we have on our federal calendar, and schools are out of get out on Juneteenth. Number of people celebrate it as a holiday, but it's only been really a holiday since 2024, and but it's still so for some people there's a lot of questions about what happens on Juneteenth, what is Juneteenth, and why is it important for us. And to help us discuss some of those questions is Bahiyjah Morrow-Rogers. She is the chair of the Juneteenth committee, and welcome to Encounter.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, Bahiyjah, this is a pretty big deal. So, how did you become the chair of the Juneteenth committee? I mean, you haven't been in our area for very long, but it's something that you obviously must feel is very important.
Yes. So, yes, I do feel Juneteenth is very, very important. I'm originally from Brooklyn.
I can tell.
Yeah, I'm originally from Brooklyn, where in New York City we celebrate a number of things that connect us as a people. So when I came here last year, 2 weeks before Juneteenth, I was asked to step into this position because the young lady who was there before, she had to step down.
Right.
And I was honored to do it. And to be honest, there was a lot of things that were already in place, so I just had to step in and just dot I's and cross T's, but the team made it very easy. And I was honored to do it because I find that Juneteenth is a holiday that more people need to know about. It became a national holiday actually in 2021.
2021.
Yeah,
okay. Well,
but it is something that a lot of us don't recognize because the celebrations are not as prevalent in different areas. In Brooklyn, it's really big. Up here, I notice it's a little bit smaller, but the team, the committee, we are dedicated to making sure that every year that it gets bigger and better, and also that we spread the history so that our community has the information that they need to know why we're having the celebrations.
yeah. So what makes Juneteenth a day that we should be remembering?
Okay, Juneteenth is a day that we should remember because it's a day that all African American people who were enslaved here in the United States, they all at that point were free.
Right.
So on June 19th in 1865, the General Granger, he came through Galveston, Texas, and he announced that the remaining enslaved people there in Texas were now free. Because 2 years prior, they didn't know that.
Right.
So they were still enslaved while other people were free. So the importance of that is that they didn't receive the information at the time that others did, and therefore they weren't liberated. So I think that the holiday needs to be put out there for us to fully understand why us being liberated as a people, when we don't have that information, it could hinder us from moving forward.
So the Emancipation Proclamation happened during the Civil War.
Correct.
And so Abraham Lincoln announced that that in the United States, and because the Confederacy was breaking off the United States, that the slaves were free in the United States. So that happened years in advance of this, right? And then General Lee surrendered.
Correct.
Later. Yeah, I think it was 1865 or
Correct.
something like that.
2 years after.
2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. And then it took a long time for it to kind of trickle down and make sure that everyone was free.
Yes.
So that's kind of what this celebrates is the culmination of that?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. So yes, it's exactly what you just said, that it's the culmination that all people now, because could you imagine?
Yeah.
That 2 years, you're like, I'm still enslaved and I'm not supposed to be.
Well, you know, I was watching a video that Damon shared with me.
Yes.
Yeah, and it had like you know, like the slave master basically kept the information from the slaves because he wanted to make sure that the crops were taken care of and all the rest of that kind of thing happened. Right. And so there was they left information out of the whole thing, right?
Correct. And that's why we push that information is liberation, because they weren't truly liberated until they received the information. So when General Granger came through Galveston, Texas, he delivered that information to the people to say, hey guys, you are now free, and should have been 2 years ago. Right. And that's what we as a committee are trying to do. We're trying to share that information, not in the sense of physical liberation, because we're not bound in change, but mental liberation, because how can you truly be free as a people if you don't understand and you have not received the proper information to allow you to understand what your forefathers went through, and therefore to prevent future enslavement. But that's exactly what you said. Right.
Well, and it also it takes a while before it actually, you know, before the slave actually really, if you've always lived under slavery and oppression, it takes a while before it gets in here, right?
Yes.
So, like, how does Juneteenth help an African American?
Ooh, that's a great question. Speaking personally, I have to say, as being a child of the diaspora, that there's a lot of information growing up that I didn't know even about myself. So as I started to be informed by educators, friends, families, that made me have a different sense of self. Yeah. Because I'm not just what they tell me I am in a textbook. And we know that some textbooks, they leave out certain information. We know that recently in today's society, information is being pulled out of textbooks, is being deleted. So then people, and especially children, youth of the diaspora, they really won't understand the importance of having information and pushing forward to the future if you don't understand where you came from. Right. So as part of being the chair and the committee, because we are a whole, we move as one, that we want to get that information out, that we have to liberate your mind first, because until you know who you are as a person, you can't fully walk in that. Right. And Juneteenth is just one way to bring that forward, and not just celebrating and coming together with a party, but celebrating that our people went through a harsh time in life, and then when they did gain their freedom, they started celebrating their unity, their power, their dignity. And also Juneteenth is a way of, I could say, fighting against some of the other oppression that we deal with, right, where we say no matter what we're going through in life, we're gonna find a moment to celebrate one another. We're gonna find a moment to make our mark, right? Speaking of this Nova here, which right, you know, our secretary so beautifully created this logo. This Nova with the red, white, and blue colors represent that we are Americans. And even though there are some people that say that, you know, you were brought here, but you don't belong here. No, we are part of America. And because right, of that, we have to know who we are as a people and stand our ground and make sure that we continue to make our mark here. And I think Juneteenth helps with that. It does.
And you know, it's interesting, you know, that when that you would hear people saying that to you, like that you were brought here, you don't belong here. When in reality, when we step back and we look at all of our national monuments, our even the White House, all of the things that kind of make America America, yeah, a lot of that was built by slaves. Yeah. And so, you know, the question are who owns this? Who's made this? In a lot of ways, I mean, you can't divorce the African American, the black person from the United States. They've been a part of it since the beginning. Correct. For better or for worse, right?
Yes, and that's the importance of, again, Juneteenth, is to get that information to our people, right?
Right.
People of the diaspora, we stand on the red, black, and green colors, which connects us to our African motherland and our culture. But we also don't separate ourselves from the red, white, and blue,
Right.
because we built this country alongside others. We're not going to negate that. But without us, then where would America be? We are Americans.
We are.
And I do believe that that's what we try to push forward with Juneteenth, especially to understand that we can celebrate together as a whole. You know, I don't believe that there should be any separation in us, but unfortunately, this is where we are in today's. But we're making our mark, and everyone's welcome to celebrate too.
Well, and that's the thing that I think is really kind of an interesting thing. So you have like, you know, we have like Greek festivals. We have other types of festivals that occur through the course of a year, and we enter in for the day. I become a Greek person, you know, or I have no problem doing that, and then dancing and looking at what goes on. In this way, we're entering into the experience of what it means to be a black person in the United States these days too. So it's a way for us to celebrate each other in a lot of ways.
Yes, and I think that's very important, and I'm thankful that you mentioned that, because in some instances, when we have the Greeks or the Italians or anyone else, when they have their flags and they have their day, it's celebrated nationwide. And as we said, 2021 is when we finally get recognized. We have to ask ourselves as to why did that take so long?
Take so long,
but it's
right.
okay, because we're here and we've already celebrated ourselves. But yes, on Juneteenth, June 19th is the day that we choose to raise our flag and say, hey, we're here, and you can come celebrate with us too and dance with us. You know, we as African people, we have a lot of culture, we have a lot of rhythm, we have a lot of dances.
And you've got great food too.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we draw from every part. In some instances, you're gonna see that we're gonna have that at our celebration on Saturday. Just plugging that in, June 20th at Center City Park. We will be having a great celebration there where we're gonna have great food, we're gonna have music, we're gonna have dances, we're gonna have singing, and the community is gonna come together as a whole to celebrate, I wanna say not only Juneteenth, but just us as a people.
Yeah, and it's important for us to remember that. And my guest today is Bahiyjah Morrow-Rogers, and we're talking about the Juneteenth celebration here in Binghamton that's happening June 20th?
Yes, on June 20th at Center City Park from 12 to 4 p.m. We're going to be having our annual celebration at the park, and we invite the whole community to come out and celebrate with us, and we're going to have the dancing and the music and the choir and the food, and we're going to actually have an art show displayed this year for our youth who have been submitting artwork and what Juneteenth means to them. This year, that the theme is freedom for all. So we're going to showcase the young people's artwork around the park, which I think will be amazing. So everyone should come on out and see that and support them.
And so you told me that you're a dancer, so I'm assuming that you're going to be doing some of the dancing at the event. Are you?
We not assume that. No, I will not be dancing, but there will be other dancers there.
There will be other dancers there. Okay. And so what kind of dancing goes on for this?
Okay, so at our Juneteenth celebration this year, we're going to have a young lady named Tanisha who's going to come, and she's going to do some of the I want to say line dancing, the rodeo line dancing, hence Texas, right? She's going to come out and do that. But in different celebrations, we usually have some African dance that comes out with traditional garb. There's also some steppers that usually come out at different celebration. You have some hip hop dances. You may even have some Latin dances, knowing that we're all entwined as a melting pot. But at ours this year, she's going to do some line dancing. You know,
it was interesting. My daughter told me about Beyonce's album, her country western album.
Yes.
And I listened to that all the way through. I thought it was really kind of a cool album,
yes.
and it did show a lot of that melting pot aspect too.
Yes.
So yeah, it's interesting how that transpires, right?
Yes, it really is. It's good to be able to see even an artist like Beyonce, which I'm happy she did that, to showcase that we are there, even in Texas. Because honestly, sometimes you think about Texas, you don't think this. But if we know the history, the Cowboys were us, but you know, yes, we're gonna have some showcasing there.
Or the idea that it actually came out of Texas.
Yeah.
Now that must, like for some people, that's a really hard thing to swallow, I would imagine, but.
Yeah, and that goes back to mental oppression.
Yeah.
And I want to say on both sides.
On both sides, exactly.
Because for us as a people, sometimes when we think Texas here in New York, we don't automatically think people who look like us.
Right.
But on your end, maybe when you think Texas, that might be the same, but then it's not until you get the information. Beyonce did it. Information comes in many forms. She did a music album for you to be able to listen to say, hey, oh, yeah, they do Texas. You know, and we're big. We do everything big.
Yeah, they do. So that's the dancing, and some of this. You said that there was a choir as well.
Yeah, this is going to be our first year. I do apologize, I can't think of the name of the choir, but there's a choir who actually asked to be a part of it. So I'm excited to hear them come, and that is also part of the liberation part and the information to show our community that there's so much talent here, and that's what Juneteenth is about, showcasing who we are and the diverse aspects of us as a people.
And this is historically a part of Juneteenth.
Yes.
From the beginning, almost.
Yes.
It's the issue of a community celebration, right?
Yes, and even touching on the choir part of it being historic is because when the enslaved people were free, and even before they were free, we sang.
Yeah, yeah.
We sent messages through songs. And then when we were liberated, we sang, right?
Yeah.
We have our Black National Anthem, who, again, our secretary will be singing on Sunday, and she has a beautiful voice. But that is something that we want to make sure that our people do that. We lift our voices and we sing of the liberation and of the hardships that we had, but we didn't let it break us, but yet we let it motivate us and continue to push us. And when we lift our voice in unity as one people, we can enjoy.
Yeah, for everybody.
For everyone.
For everyone. And for the listener and the viewer today, that's lift every voice and sing, right?
Yes.
Till earth and heaven ring.
That's right.
Yeah,
I'm not going to sing it.
It's a great song. I love that song. I remember the first time I heard it, you get in the, you have the basses come in and you have the men singing that little thing, and then the women come in with the thing up at the top and the top register. It's a great song.
Yeah, the lyrics of the song are so powerful that when you listen to them and you realize that a people who were not meant to have a voice gained a voice, and then they use their voice to spread a message, and that's the beauty of it. So yes, the tones there, the sopranos, the altos, and so forth, is great. But the lyrics.
Yeah, they are. They're impressive.
Lyrics are what pushes us as a people and reminds us of who we are, how far we've come.
All right. So you mentioned the choir. Now we know we're also going to be singing the Black National Anthem.
Yes, we are.
And so what are some of the other things that are happening? Tell me about the food, because I'm really interested in
yes,
it,
great.
Especially the barbecue.
Okay, because I am a foodie. Yeah, we're going to be having food. The NAACP as well as the Elks are going to be sponsoring hot dogs and hamburgers, and we're going to try to have some other delicacy there. We're going to have, speaking on the food, we're going to try to have some other, we have some restaurants who would like to come out and be a part, and they're going to showcase some of their dishes that they have there, because they're going to be a part of the vendors. We have almost 50 vendors who are going to come out and be out there to help us make sure that this celebration is great for our community. So yeah, you just have to come on out. Now, traditional food, because I know we spoke about that earlier, we will not have all the traditional food, but usually we have watermelon, the red signifying the blood that was shed of our people, the cornbread, the golden color, which signifies our wealth and how we see ourselves as greatness. And then in some people, they'll usually have black-eyed peas, collard greens, and things like that, which just signify us as a people unifying, the green for our land. So us as a people, we tend to send messages in many different ways, even in the food that we eat.
Yeah, Hoppin' John, man, I love that stuff. That's another one. Like
yes.
You could set me in front of a big plate of Hoppin' John, and I would be a comatose within an hour, because Yeah.
We have a term for that, but I'm not going to say it online.
Oh.
But yes, once your belly is full, you can relax wherever you are.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
And so the food is a big part, and then you said music as well, and
Yes.
you know, the bands. Are there bands there?
This year we're not going to have a band, but we do have a DJ, and he will be playing a lot of the traditional music that we usually play, and you're going to hear some old school music as well as some up to date. And the music is used to bring the people together because we love to dance. As a people, we love to showcase the gifts that we have been blessed with, and we know, even going back to our motherland, that dance was used to show honor and homage to those who came before us. So we will be doing some dances there also when we come together, and we know everyone loves the electric slide.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the traditional ones that we'll get together and do. I see you moving.
Yeah, there you go.
So yes, we will be doing a number of dances together as a people to show unity. Yes.
So Bahiyjah,
Yes.
When you're thinking about the future of Juneteenth and what you're hoping to do in our area, I know that right now we're in Central Park, and it's going to happen on June 20th, right?
June 20th.
Just to make sure everybody knows, is it all day?
12 to 4 p.m.
12 to 4. Okay, 12 to 4 on Juneteenth, on the 20th of June. Just make sure everybody gets that into their head and then gets into their feet, and then they walk there.
When they step on the grounds, they'll feel it.
Yeah, very good. And so, when you think about the future, though, what are some of your plans for the Juneteenth celebration?
Okay, our plans, as we see this Nova, right? These points continue to go outward. The goal is to spread. I would like us, and us as a committee, the goal is to not leave it just in Center City Park in Binghamton, but it would be nice to have a celebration in Endicott, nice to have a celebration in Johnson City. The more people that get information about Juneteenth and what Juneteenth is, we're hoping that that will draw them in to say, hey, I would like to be a part of that, and how can I help spread the information and the wisdom and the knowledge so that each community, especially for our elders who may not be able to travel all the way from their Endicott or Johnson City or Vestal all the way to Binghamton, we can bring something to them so that they don't miss out on being part of the celebration.
And so if a person wanted to help you and get the word out and try to be involved in this, how would they get in touch with you or the committee? Okay,
they can email us at B-I-N-G, Juneteenth @gmail.com.
All right, Bing?
B-I-N-G, June, J-U-N-E-T, T-E-E-N-T-H @gmail.com.
@gmail.com.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
And that way they can get through to you, and they might be able to volunteer their time to be on the committee or to help spread the word or get a flyer out or do other kinds of things like that, right?
Yes, we really appreciate. We do have a number of volunteers, but we're still looking for anyone who would like to be a part of the celebration and spreading the word in any way. So once you email us, one of us will get back to you, and the more the merrier, because that's what we're about. We're about this Nova. Everyone is a point on the star.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and so like, are there anything? So when we're talking about you know, the need for liberation, the need for us to shake off oppression, come together and find power together.
Yes.
You know, how do we how is that exemplified when we have these celebrations?
I would say it's exemplified, one, as you mentioned, coming together. The mindset of us knowing that we are Americans. And once we take I would have to say, not looking at each other's skin tone, but understanding the land that we stand on.
Right.
And when we come together in a mindset of we are the people of this country, that's where it starts. Friday at the flag raising, when that flag is raised, yes, this one will have a nova on it symbolizing June 19th, but the colors, the red, white, and blue symbolizes us as a people. Right. And I think if we start there realizing that we are one people of many points on a star, that helps us get mentally liberated first, and then it also brings us together so that we can help liberate others with that information.
And it helps us enjoy really the culture of,
Yes.
of the African American people.
Yes.
And you know, like I think about Motown, for instance.
Yes.
You can't get away from Motown, or I can't remember the one in Memphis, the other one. So there were two African American record companies, and the one in Memphis is the one that I think of too. And
Okay.
but Motown, man. I grew up in Detroit, and
Wow.
I love Motown music. You know, Smokey and the Temptations and Diana Ross and all that kind of stuff. It's just such a good, powerful, and beautiful music.
Yes.
And for us to think that you can't celebrate that, you know, as an American, and not see the whole person that's singing, or like when I think about it when they you know, some of those songs are so deep and in sorrow at times, you know, and for us to think of that as being, and to understand that was a part of their history, and the feeling of oppression that their family had under slavery. You have to love it. You know, at some point you have to feel it too, right?
Right.
And it makes it harder for us to really empathize, I think, across it when we divorce that from the historical experience of Black people.
Yes, and I'm happy that you made that point. Thank you so much. And that's where it is that when some people lack that empathy, you can't fully embrace, as you said, the lyrics of the song to understand the heart of the person writing it. But as you said, loving Motown shows that if you can look past the individual singing the song and just enjoy the gift, the singing, the music behind it, you can relate in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
You know, your lack of may not be equal to someone else's, but we've all been through it. Because again, we're here on American soil, which is not easy. Everyone's trying to make their mark some way or another, and you can relate to the songs no matter if you look like that person or not, you know.
My guest today is Bahiyjah Morrow-Rogers, and we've been talking about Juneteenth. That's happening on June 20th this year at Central Park in Binghamton. Central City Park in Binghamton. And you can go there from 12 to 4, hear good music, be with dancers, hear the national anthem of the African American people, and then also just have a great time celebrating with everyone about all that makes Juneteenth possible.
Yes.
Thank you for being on Encounter today.
Thank you for having me.
And for all of you who are watching us today, be good, kind, and gentle to each other, and have a great Sunday.